Hello everyone. In this lecture we are going to start with next topic, that is Arden's theorem, and also we will be discussing about the applications of Arden's theorem. Basically Arden's theorem is used for the Kleene theorem part 2. If you have not gone through the Kleene theorem part 1, then please go through the Kleene theorem part 1, then come to this Kleene theorem part 2. So how we can convert a given expression to NFA with epsilon closure is covered under the Kleene theorem part 1. Next, in the part 2 we will be covering how we can convert a given finite automata to the equivalent regular expression, and for this we will be using Arden's equation. So in this lecture we are just covering the proof of Arden's theorem, because in exam you may have the question like explains the Arden's theorem and proof the equations of Arden's theorem and applications of Arden's theorem. So in this lecture we are just covering the applications of Arden's theorem and the proof of Arden's equation, and in next lecture we will be using these proofs and these applications and these theorems for the examples of Kleene theorem part 2, means how we can convert the given finite automata to equivalent regular expression. So let's start with the lecture. So here a brief of regular expression. A language is regular, that we have already covered. A language is regular if and only if it can be represented by using a finite automata. So we can represent a language as regular if we have some regular expression corresponding to it, and that language can also have some NFA with epsilon closure or NFA or DFA, means if we are able to construct any finite automata corresponding to the given language, then we can call that language as regular, and that language can also be represented by some regular expression. So if we have regular expression corresponding to the language, a finite automata can also be generated corresponding to that given regular expression, right? And in the Kleene theorem is all about this complete cycle, means how we can convert a given regular expression to NFA with epsilon closure is covered under the Kleene theorem part 1. So this was the proof of part 1, how we can convert a given regular expression to NFA with epsilon closure, and if we succeed in constructing the NFA with epsilon closure, then we can directly convert it to DFA. And the Kleene theorem part 2 is all about how we can convert a given DFA corresponding to the regular expression, means how we can calculate the regular expression corresponding to the given DFA is the Kleene theorem part 2. Okay, so this was the basic of regular Kleene theorem part 1, where we have covered two cases. Case 1 is covering if the regular expression has length less than or equal to 1, means regular expression is phi, regular expression is null, or regular expression is having exactly one symbol. That was covered under case 1 of Kleene theorem part 1, and case 2 was covering if the regular expression is having length greater than equal to 1, then the regular expression was represented using some union operation or some concatenation or the Kleene closure or the positive closure. So that's all we have covered under the Kleene theorem part 1. Now for the part 2 we will be covering this section, means how a given DFA can be represented or converted to the equivalent regular expression is the Kleene theorem, all concern of the Kleene theorem part 2. So we can say that if a finite automata DFA recognizes the regular language L, then there exists regular expression which can describe that regular language L. So if we are having some DFA, that means that DFA is corresponding to a regular language, and if we are having some DFA, then we can definitely find out the regular expression corresponding to given DFA. So this was the main concern of Kleene theorem part 2. So for this we will be using a theorem, that is Arden's theorem. Arden's theorem will help us to find out the regular expression corresponding to given DFA, because the Arden's theorem is proving some solution for the equations. So in this lecture we are just checking for the proof of those equations, and we will be using those equations in examples in the next lecture. Okay, so here the Arden's theorems is having A simple definition like if we have two regular expression P and Q and P does not contain a null, then if we have equation of this type R equals to Q plus RP, then all such equation will be having a unique solution, that is R equals to QP star. So Arden's theorem is just a proof of this equation, means how this equation can have this unique solution is all about Arden's theorem. And in Kleen's theorem part 2 we will be using this equation and substituting this solution corresponding to these type of equations in Kleen's theorem part 2 examples. So that means whenever we have any equation while finding the regular expression corresponding to given finite automata, if we encounter any equation of this type, we can directly replace it by this given solution. So this was the this is Arden equation and this is the solution of Arden equation. And let's check the proof of Arden's theorem now. So for Arden's theorem proof, firstly we will prove that R equals to QP star is the only solution, is a solution of this equation. Then we will prove that it is the unique and only solution of this equation, means we will check in either way whether this equation can result in any other solution or not, or this is the only and unique solution for this given Arden's equation, right? So let's start with the proof. Here we are starting with this equation and we are numbering it as equation number 1. So here starting with the equation number 1 and we will try to solve it by using this equation only. Okay, so here we are having this equation as equation number 1. Now we will be substituting the same equation in the right hand side, means we will be substituting the value of the R as this right hand side of this equation as value of R in the right hand side of equation number 1. So we will be solving the equation, or we will be substituting the same equation and to prove the solution. So again by putting the value of R, we are getting this equivalent equation as Q plus, here we have substituted here R as Q plus RP and P, and after multiplying here or solving this, we are getting this equation as QP and RP square. Okay, this is the only solution after solving this equation. And again after substituting R on the right hand side by the same equation, we will be repeating this step multiple times. So again after putting R as Q plus RP, we are getting this as a new equation, Q plus QP and Q plus RP P square. So again we have substituted R with the same value or the same equation, and after solving we are getting the equation as QP square and RP cube. So after solving or putting this equation in the right hand side n number of times, we are getting this type of pattern where this equation is increasing and RP is having raised to power greater than the previous equation, greater than the previous value. So just repeating this step or putting this value in right hand side n number of times, and after that we will be getting this solution, means a series is formed here where we have QP cube or QP raised to power 4, and after that after substituting it n times we are getting QP raised to power n, and R will goes one value higher. So we are having RP raised to power n plus 1. So this is the way how we are substituting it n number of time, and this will be the equation after that. Now if we see the first n plus 1 values here, are having Q as the common value. So we can take Q as a common value, and after that this is the final equation. And from this equation we can easily judge that this is forming a pattern, means if n tends to infinity, if we are saying n is infinity, if n is equal to infinity, then we can conclude that this is forming a star or clean closure, 0 or more values, and more can be up to infinity. So if we can say that here n tends to infinity, then we can write this as P star, because we have null and we have any number of values of p, so we can write this equation or equate this equation with p star, and we can write the value as this: r equals to qp star plus r p n plus 1. This value comes directly here. Okay, so qp star. So if n is n tends toward the infinity, then we can always ignore this value. We can ignore this value if n tends toward infinity. This is the mathematical rule. So after ignoring this value, we can conclude that this equation is having a unique solution, that is r equals to qp star. So it is clear that r equals to qp star is a solution for Arden's equation. Now taking the same equation number 1, and now substituting this solution in the right hand side. For this example, we have substituted the same value of r in the right hand side. Now we are taking another value in the right hand side, and let's check for the solution what we are getting after putting this value of r in the right hand side. Means either we are getting a new solution or we are getting the same result. So let's try with this equation, and now this time we are substituting this r equals to qp star in the right hand side of equation 1. After substituting r equals to qp star, we are repeating the same steps. We are getting this. So r is substituted with qp star, and here is the p. So after solving it, we are getting this qp p star. And as we already know, in the regular expression, if we are having a and also having a star, then we can replace it with a plus. Same way here we have replaced p and p star with p plus. So after replacing p star with p plus, we are getting this equation q p plus. Okay, now again taking the q as a common factor. So here q and null p plus, and null p plus is forming the p star, as we have null p plus means positive closure. Positive closure means one or more, and if we are adding a null with one or more, then we are getting a clean closure, means 0 or more values of p. So here we can write this equation with p star, right? So here is the solution, r equals to qp star. So we can conclude that this is the solution for the Arden's equation. This is the only solution for Arden's equation. We have checked in either ways. Now let's discuss about the applications of the Arden's theorem. So we generally use Arden's theorem to find out regular expression recognized by a finite automata. By finite automata means DFA. We will be given with a DFA, and you have to find out the regular expression, and for that we will be using the Arden's theorem, right? And in book you will find some steps here of the process to calculate the or to find out the regular expression corresponding to the given finite automata, but I have not written those steps here because we will be discussing all those steps with example in next lecture. Okay, because only the steps will not clear you the concept, so we will be discussing all those steps with examples in the next lecture. Till then, bye and take care.